Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this evening's Brass Bands England webinar. Thank you for joining us tonight again, and thank you for everyone who's been regularly to these sessions, and welcome to anyone who it's your first time coming along. It's great to see you. Hello to everyone who's watching on Facebook tonight. We'll talk a little bit in how you can get involved because we'd love to hear from you. So one of the reasons that we decided to do the webinar on this topic this evening, partly because we've gained members over the last year or so, and we know within that time the way that you will have accessed what Brass Bands England does and our activity might have changed a little bit, but also people who have come on board with us during pandemic, as we kind of move out into something that looks a little bit like normal. We thought now was a good time to kind of talk about the stuff in normal times that we do and support you, as well as all the things that we do during these times as well. We also know that lots of people aren't aware of how much they can get from their membership. So we just wanted to put together this resource to make sure that everyone who has paid membership to us is getting the most out of it. And that's bands, individuals, and members of your bands as well. We want to make sure that you are doing everything that you can. It's also just a really good opportunity for you to be able to see us, meet the team, and ask us questions as well. So for anyone who's not that familiar with Zoom, we're using the Zoom webinar platform this evening, and that means that we've got a Q&A feature. So if you've got direct questions, then please do put them in the Q&A box, and we'll pass them on to the relevant people. But if you've just got a general comment or something you'd like to share, then that can go in the chat box. And again, people watching on Facebook, if you've got any questions or any comments, please just put those in the comments of the video, and we'll be able to pass them through. So we are recording tonight. It's going out live on Facebook as well. So people who want to watch again, or want to, after you've watched tonight, you want to pass it on to someone else, then you'll be able to find it in our members resource area, and on our Facebook page as well. So if you think that someone else might want to see what we've talked about tonight, then that's where you can direct them. So here is Brass Bands England. We're a membership organisation for brass bands. We're made up of organisations, events, associations and traders. So that's bands, that's organisations who work within banding, festivals, contests, all that kind of thing. We work for and support all of you. So we're funded predominantly by Arts Council England as the sector support organisation for brass bands, and we're going to go into a little bit more detail about what it is that we do and how you can access those services, but it's really broad ranging and includes advocacy for bands, getting deals for members for all sorts of things, and running workshops and events and training. We've got an office based in Barnsley, although in the last few months we haven't been there quite as often, and we've got staff based at the office, but also a little bit widespread across the country as well. So what I wanted to do next was just to bring in the team. So BBE Team, you may now reveal yourselves.
Good evening.
Hello. Some faces here might be a little bit more familiar than others. We've got some relatively new members of the team, and some people who have been with us for a very long time. So we'll go around. First of all, we've got Kenny. Kenny, tell us who you are and what you do at BBE.
Good evening, I'm Kenny Crookston. I am the Chief Executive Officer of Brass Bands England. That means I'm basically the guy in charge of this fantastic team. It's been a real pleasure working with them for the last 3 years. I've got some of them for the last 3 years, but just like everybody else here, I'm just getting to know some of them that have joined us in the last few months as well. But thanks for joining us tonight, and I'm sure you'll get a lot out of this next 55 minutes or so that Sarah's got planned for you.
Fantastic, thanks Kenny. And next, Parky.
Hi, so I'm our Partnership and Relationship Development Manager. That means I cover all sorts of things from our working relationships with industry and partners through to overseeing some of our budget spend on different projects that we're working with some of our funders on. And I've been at BBE for just over 3 years. I predate Kenny by a whole month.
Excellent. Parky's main job is to create work for other people. That's basically Parky in a nutshell. And next we've got Rosie.
Hi there. I'm BBE's Membership Services Manager. I've been with BBE 2 years. My main role is membership support, software support and development. I look after the newsletter, the awards. I'm on the EDI group and I'm membership secretary for BBCA.
Marvellous. Thank you, Rosie. And Sam.
Evening, everyone. I'm the Safeguarding Officer for BBE and I've been with them now since last November, so relatively new. I deal with obviously all things safeguarding and well-being related.
Marvellous. Thank you. And Claire, hi.
Hello, I'm Claire. I've been the Marketing and Communications Manager for 2 months now. In terms of what I do, I'll normally be the person sharing what we do with you. So I'm the one updating the websites, sharing all of our latest news and events on social media, sending out some emails, and getting our news out to other brass band websites and publications as well.
Fab. And Haz.
Hi everyone, I'm Anne Harrod, or Haz. I started at the same time as Claire in January. I am the digital content creator, so mainly I work on all of the membership resources.
Marvellous. Thank you, everyone. So I'll introduce myself as well, which I realise I actually haven't done yet. So I'm Sarah. I'm the Education and Development Manager at Brass Bands England. So I'm in charge of programming all these webinars and development of activities, but I also head up all of the education and youth work that we do here at Brass Bands England too. We've also got a few members of the team that aren't here tonight, but I want to give a shout out to them as well. So we've got the wonderful Carol, who is in our Barnsley office, who predates all of us by, yeah, she has been at Brass Bands England forever and knows everything about everything that needs to be known. She's the one that will be the main support for DBS checks, who processes all of those, but is also usually the main contact that you have if you get in touch with the info at or call the main office line. We've also taken on a few other members of staff, thanks to the money that we've had from the Cultural Recovery Fund, and that's part of the reason that you have seen our team expanding quite a bit over the last 6 months or so. So we've also got 2 archive project officers who are with us on a temporary basis, who are based in our Barnsley office and are doing absolutely amazing work working through the Brass Band archive that we hold there currently, and appraising that, so they're in that kind of first phase of that project. And we've also got the 5 Brass Foundations team who are based across the country as well, who you will have seen if you are a regular watcher of our Facebook page. Again, our team does stretch a little bit wider than that in terms of a few different freelancers and different people that we work with on an ad hoc basis. But in terms of the core office team, you're seeing most of us here this evening. Great. So as I say, if you've got any questions about anything that we're covering tonight, then please do pop them in the Q&A and we'll make sure they get answered. But what we are going to do for people who are on the Zoom webinar is we're going to be opening up the BBE pub as we do as usual, but we're going to make sure that space is available for you to ask any questions directly to us that you want to. So please do hang on if there's something that you want to chat to us about. But unfortunately, that's the point. We'll be saying goodbye to our friends who are watching on Facebook. So I'm going to pass over to Rosie now, who's going to talk a little bit more about membership and what you can get from it.
Thanks, Sarah. Right, so I'm aware that we'll have lots of members on the call and also maybe people on Facebook who aren't members. You might be thinking about joining BBE. So I'm going to go through some of the basics. So I thought I'd start by telling you about the different sorts of membership we have. So we've got individual membership for £25. So this might be suitable for someone, if you're not part of a band, you might be someone who loves banding, goes to lots of concerts, but you're not part of a band at the moment, but you want to benefit from what we offer and receive our communications, that will be for you. We have BBCA and individual membership. So this is membership of the Brass Band Conductors Association, which we administer. So if you join this, you get free individual membership of BBE as well. So you're getting double benefits. That's £44. Then we have different prices depending on how many bands there are in your organisation. So there's a rate for student and youth bands, and then we start, so one band at £100, and as you build up the number of bands, so if you're a senior band and a youth band, you would join as one organisation and you would join for £150. So you get the discount as you add in your extra bands. But another way of getting some discount is to join with the direct debit, so it's a recurring payment method that will save you 2.5% on your membership fee. So that's well worth doing. And then you don't have to worry about paying any time after that, it's all sorted out. Okay. So some of the discounts that you get and benefits, whatever level of membership you've got. So everyone gets the discount on BBE and partner events. If you were to need some DBS checks doing, we can do these for free if you're a volunteer and at a discounted rate for an enhanced professional DBS. So that could potentially save you quite a bit of money. BBE has deals with 3 insurance companies. So we don't deal with insurance for you, but if you use these 3 companies, you get a discount just by being a member of BBE. You also get access to all our member resources. I'll come on to that later on. And you get to vote at the BBE AGM. Okay. So just to give you a breakdown about if you joined and paid £100, how you probably get your money back pretty much straight away. So the benefits, so you join as a one band organisation for £100. So you do set up your direct debit, so it actually costs you £97.50. Then say you want one DBS check. If you were to go somewhere else for this, you might expect to pay about £45. So you recoup that already. If you decide you need to send someone on our band safe training course, you would save £40 on that by being a member as opposed to attending as a non-member. And then say you were to attend some of our online events, these are free for non-members, so you might save another £15. So you can be down to, so if you've got more than the cost of your membership back. Or you might say, well, our band doesn't have young people, we might not be doing DBS checks and band safe training, but through these insurance deals, I've spoken to lots of bands who saved hundreds of pounds just by getting the discount on their band insurance, which can more than cover your membership. There's also other savings, such as this year we had 50% discount on your entry to the Butlins contest, which we've run that for a couple of years now. And we've run discounts such as on your area contest music. So there's plenty of benefits financially from joining. So as members, we want you to make the most of our website where we put all our great resources and information. So if we go on to the next slide, I'm going to help you get set up. So if you were to do a bit of online shopping, then no doubt any store you went to would want you to set up an account with them. So it's just the same for us. To access the benefits of your band being a member of BBE, each individual needs to set up their own account. So you do this with your own username, which the best thing is to use your personal email address and set up your own password, and that's creating a new account. So you have an individual account rather than a band account that you share between you when you all log in the same. It doesn't work like that. You need to have your own email and you have your personal account. If you've already got an account, this is a screen where you log in. If you can't remember your password, you can request it. And if you get totally stuck, ring up and press 1 for membership or email member@bbe.org.uk and I'll sort you out. Right, so once you've set up your account, it brings you to your own dashboard. So on here, you can go in these different tiles. You can, in My Musician Profile, you can add information about yourself, such as what instrument you play. You can manage your details and preferences. So if your telephone number changed or your address, you can go in and change that yourself. But probably the most important tile is this register as part of a member band. So as an individual, you need to link with your band to get the benefits that your band membership's got. So you go on this tile, you start typing in the name of your band and it'll bring up a match with your band. That will send off an email to your band admin who will recognise who you are, join you to the band, and then you access all the benefits. So then you can start getting the newsletters and the mailings and see what's going on. And they can also make you an admin. So for someone who's a band admin, they get to see this My Group dashboard. So there's the tiles on here, they can manage the group profile. So they can add information about the band, sort of upload a photograph or add the logo, put what section you're in, all sorts of things. The band admins can manage the group, so you can change the position, the permissions of your members. You can delete people, invite new people to join the group. You have a lot of control yourself to manage this, so you don't have to come to us all the time. Other things on here, you'll see there's the BOPA status. So this is the child performance licensing aspect of it, which gives you 3 little icons to show whether, show whether your BOPA is sort of available to use, or if not, why not. We might come on to that later. So this is a really useful dashboard for managing your account. And another thing on here we have add event. So you can advertise your band's events through our website, so that when you go to our events page on the BBE website, at the top it's got BBE events, and then if you scroll down, you can have bands events will come up there. So it's a great bit of advertising for you. Okay. Right, so once you've got your account sorted out, you link with the band, you can access the member resource as part of the website, which isn't accessible to other people. So in here, you'll find all our previous newsletters. You'll find recordings of past online webinars. So this webinar will be added as a resource into that area, so you can go and visit it again. And other sort of interesting items that we add in for the resources for your benefit. Okay. The Find a Band facility lets people come and look for vacant positions in your band. So when you're on your group dashboard, you can go in and advertise, say you need a soprano player, and then people coming to this screen on the website can search soprano corner in a Northwest band, and this will bring up all the matches. So it's a really useful tool if you're not happy where you are and you want to swap band. You can have a good look. Thank you.
Brill.
Over to Sarah.
So Rosie is definitely the person to go to anything website query wise. She knows everything and how it works and how it goes much better than any of us do. So if you're ever struggling with anything like that, then Rosie's the person to go to. So those of you who have registered to the webinar tonight are obviously aware that webinars is something that we do and something that we've been running. It's not something that we did prior to COVID, but it's definitely something that we're going to continue doing. All of our webinars are free to members, and that means if you are a part of a member band, you get access to all of them for free. So I mean, one of my jobs this week is to properly go through and look at actually how many we've done in the last year, but certainly we did one a week for the first 6 months or so, and then we've moved to roughly one a fortnight, but actually we've done a bit more than that since January. So it's a lot of content that you get access to, and we've had a real range of subject matter that we've covered. We've had people like Dave Thornton doing sessions on small group playing and getting back to when you're playing not quite yet as a full band. We've had more governance focused things. We've had sessions on diversity and inclusion, for example, or we've had sessions like this that are a little bit more practical and looking at things you can do. So we've had a real range there, but you get access to all of those for free. But in normal times, what we would be doing is running our series of development workshops. And again, these will continue, and these will be coming back when we do stuff face to face, which is probably going to be by the time that we get these back up and running, is probably going to be kind of mid-autumn, late autumn, something like that. But we're gonna be looking at some dates very soon. So these are 2 different workshop days. One run by Philip Harper, which is the Artistic Development Day, and that is a full day that just looking at how, as conductors, you can be better artistic leaders. But it's a really valuable day for non-conductors as well. Part of that day is that you, if your band volunteers to be the demo band, you get to be conducted by Phil, which is pretty amazing. If you're a member, then you'll get access to that day for £5, and that includes your lunch, which is a full day with Philip Harper, which is, I would say, is a bargain. So we usually do one of these sessions kind of in each area roughly of the country per year, but obviously people like Phil have been delivering webinars as well, so we've been looking at ways to kind of get him more accessible to you and other people that we have leading sessions as well. The second strand to our development work is the player development workshop days, and this is something we only managed to run 2, I think, before last March, but these are really practical. They're really focused on anyone within the band who just wants to improve their playing. So you get half a day with the amazing Paul Kosh on really practical things about how to set up a good practice routine, all those kind of things, and you get to be in a room with him getting some guidance and support. And then the afternoon session is with the amazing Roger Webster. Again, same price, a full day with both of them for £5 if you're a member, including a lunch. So if you're a non-member, it would be £15 for the day. So if half of your band decides that they want to go along for that as a collective, you save quite a lot of money by being members as well. We are looking at developing other training aspects to go along with that, which I know Parky's going to touch on a little bit later. But we're always looking at different ways to kind of supplement what it is that we do to our development strand. But these 2 core ones are going to continue. So what I just wanted to do now was to show you a quick video of what the player development day looks like, so you can get an idea of what that's going to be. What we're trying to do is find ways to improve your band in as many different ways as we can, and to give you the chance to access professional musicians and experts in the field that are going to be able to give you tuition to make you the best that you can be.
I really wish we brought more of our band, and I'd really encourage people from other bands to come along. A lot to be learned, and it's great to chat to a couple of guys who are clearly well at the top of their game.
It just felt really relaxed knowing that there were people from all sorts of different age ranges and like different bands, different backgrounds, but you're all there just trying to improve your playing.
Ideally, they're now, say, 2/3 top and 1/3 bottom. Depends on your lip structure. If you've got a larger red surface on your bottom lip, is designed for people of all standards, from people who are just beginning to a certain extent and to those who are very expert at playing a brass instrument. The structure that I put into their practice routine is a very simple basic routine which, if done, will achieve success for them and their band.
The session this morning, I just thought it was really brilliant. Stuff that I wish somebody had told me years ago, to be honest. Stuff that somebody will give you a bit of knowledge and it's like, try this, try that. But it was all brought together in one package, so I found that really useful for me. And it's like, oh, okay. So I've not been doing that right.
This afternoon we're talking mainly about areas of performance such as warm-up practice, preparation, motivation, concentration. Generally speaking, if they go away with 1 or 2 elements, that retained from this and from Paul's earlier session, it should help them as individuals to become better musicians and better performers within a unit, and also then help the bands. And anything we can do to push bands forward or give people more enjoyment within that environment, the better.
It's always good to laugh. It is our hobby, we're supposed to be enjoying it, it's supposed to be fun. The slides are nicely put together, the presentation's nice and polished. A lot of that information there is going to be really useful outside this session, so that people from various bands who've come to this presentation can share that information and use it back home in their own bands.
So alongside the workshop content, a really great thing that everyone takes out of our development events is that you get to meet loads of people and you get to network with bands maybe local to the area but you've never had a chance to speak to before, and it's something that all the attendees always get a lot out of.
Brass Band England, we've got to make the point it's for everybody. We're there to support every facet of brass banding in this country. Whatever you are, whether you're a player, whether you're an administrator, whether you're a media-based organisation, if you're in the commercial sector, whatever it is, we're there for them.
It's a really friendly atmosphere, it's just really easygoing, loads of really friendly faces there, and you learn a lot of really useful stuff that you might not have thought about before.
Definitely worthwhile. It's like anything, you're going to take from it what you put into it. I've got to take that now and work with that, and if I start to see improvement, then it's going to do my band no end of good. It's going to do me no end of good, because it's going to build my confidence, and hopefully that's what I'll gain from today, and that's what anybody else coming to a session like this will gain as well.
Marvellous. So I think that gives you a really good sense of what those days look like, and they're so much fun, and we can't wait to be back out in person seeing you at those events again really soon. So that is a great thing that we put on, but we also have our annual conference is another one of our key events. We had our last conference back in September, which was a completely live streamed event, which was a new one to us. Delivering without an audience was a really weird thing, but I think a lot of people got a lot of out of it. Our theme last year was resilience and sustainability, which we actually picked pre-COVID. We just knew somehow. But next year, this September, we are just at the point now of getting together the theme and what we're going to be covering. So we're going to be shouting a lot about our next conference very soon. Again, that's just we have our AGM at that conference as well, but that's just a space that we provide to look at how we can improve everything that we do, and we try and do different aspects and different focuses every year. And again, when we're at the point where we can get back together in a room, it provides a brilliant networking space as well, and just means that people across the country who are all doing things that they're really passionate about can come together and be in the same room and talk about them. So that's what we love. Great, I'm going to hand over to Rosie now, who's going to talk a little bit more about the conference awards.
Yes, so a really important part of the conference is that we have our awards presentations or announcements, as the case may be. So we've just launched the awards for this year, so you can start nominating now. We've got 6 awards. We've got 2 new ones, the Outstanding Contribution Awards for different age groups. So we're hoping to get a whole range of people being nominated there. You can nominate on the website online, or you can download a nomination form, get that back to us by the 26th of May, and then our panel of trustees can pick out some winners. So get thinking about that now. I'm now going to ask Claire's going to tell you a bit more about how you might get your band nominated.
Yeah, so the one main kind of rule in terms of eligibility for these awards is that bands cannot nominate themselves for a band award. So we ask that someone else put your band forward, just so that we can hear about the impact that your activities have had on a wider audience and on your local community. So if you visit the awards page on the website, you'll find a link there to some social media assets that you can use to share the awards with your network of friends and supporters of your band, to suggest that they put you forward. So on that link, you'll find some different sized images that you can use on either Facebook, Instagram or Twitter. You can use them on your website, you can drop them into an email. And you'll also find a list of some suggested social media posts that you can copy straight onto your own channels in order to get that message out there and let people know that you think your band would be a great contender for a BBE award this year. So that's my bit on social media and the awards. So I'm going to pass back to the team.
Fantastic. Yeah, we want to hit everyone to share this, because that's really important, and particularly at a time where you haven't been as visible in your communities as maybe you would be in normal times. This is a really, really good way to start reminding people that you're here and start reminding people that the great stuff that you do for them. Parky, over to you to tell us a little bit about some of our partners.
Great. So one of the main things that I do is work with on our partnerships, whether that's our day-to-day work on advocacy, but also on our partners that really matter to you as our members. So I'm just going to highlight a couple of them tonight, but there are a lot more that we work with. We drew up a list recently, and it got into the low 50s of number of people that we work with. And they're on all sorts of projects across everything we do. But some of the main ones that we work with are here on this slide. So the first one I'm going to highlight is our Making Music relationship. Now, this is probably one of our deepest, closest relationships that we have with anyone. And that's because everybody that joins Brass Bands England automatically gets affiliate membership of Making Music. So once you've joined us, all you have to do is go to the Making Music website, which is makingmusic.org.uk/BBE, and there's a form there just to activate your account with them. So whilst they have a membership of their own, in most cases, apart from the very lowest earning brass bands, membership of Brass Bands England is actually cheaper. So you're able to get all of the benefits of Making Music, plus all of the benefits of BBE for the same price as our BBE membership, which, unless you're one of the lower earning bands, it will actually be cheaper to join us in the first place. So on top of all of the benefits that we've talked about before, the discounts on events, the free DBS checks, because Making Music charge for DBS checks, and things like partner events and insurance. Now, in most cases, insurance is the thing that will save you almost the entire cost of your membership. You get everything that Making Music offer, which can be things like there's a charity registration service. So that's a service to help you get registered as a charity, and we recommend that almost all brass bands should be doing that, especially if your turnover has gone above £5,000, you'll be required to register. Then there's other things like they have a funding portal of funders that are available to support your activities. They do a PRS fee collection and discount service. So that's where, if you are having to pay PRS fees, which you'll have to pay if you play in any venue that doesn't itself have a PRS license, there's a date in the latter half of the year by which, if you get your return in time, you get a discount, and if you pay it through the Making Music collection scheme. And then we work very closely with Making Music on our advocacy work, and that includes things like, you may remember earlier in the year when music and culture was being ignored, when sport was being allowed to do some activity. We ran a project with Making Music and a few other people, such as the Association of British Choral Directors, suddenly trying to remember what ABCD stands for, where we asked people to write to their MPs and highlight that brass bands and music was an important part of people's social fabric, and it was successful, and we got some change through that, and that's part of being part of a bigger vocal body of amateur musicians that can then start to make a difference. So that's Making Music. It's a great partnership, and there's many great reasons to make sure you go and activate that Making Music membership. So many, in fact, that later on in the year we are planning a session a bit like this, but specifically about the making music benefits, because there's so much to talk about in that that we couldn't fit any more into today's session. So we also have our relationship with the Brass Band Conductors Association. So Rosie, who's on with me tonight, she runs all of the administration for the Brass Band Conductors Association. And as we said before, if you join the Conductors Association, you also get individual membership of making music. But we also provide for those members a free professional DBS check. So if you're a volunteer, we're able under our standard membership to offer those DBS checks for free. But the DBS make an additional charge for anybody that's a professional, £40 per check. So we do that. We do one free professional check for members of the Conductors Association. So if you are a band that has a conductor that is looking to get and you pay that conductor, and you're looking to get them a DBS check, which we recommend you do as somebody of a significant influence on the members of your band, you can go and pay £44 to join the BBCA, meaning it's only cost you £4 in addition to what it would have cost you to get that DBS check done. And then your conductor can get all the benefits of the networking, the opportunities to take part in the conductors contest, and things like that the Conductors Association join. So if you are looking to support your band's conductor, helping them join the Conductors Association is a great thing for you to do. And then we've got Unibrass. So we actually support some of Unibrass's work in terms of supporting their contest each year, but Unibrass give as much back to us in terms of supporting our events. So they send people to steward at our youth championships, people that turn up to our conferences to help out. So by supporting us, you are in turn helping support Unibrass as well. And if you are a university band member, there's a discount on or a refund on some of the costs of your entry of Unibrass as well. So that's our partnerships. We've also, just to mention a few of the others offhand, we have a relationship with NIMAS. Sarah, in fact, is a trustee there, and so we run some co-delivered youth projects with NIMAS, and we've got a partnership going with the National Coal Mining Museum, where we're working to plan events with them that celebrate the historical links between coal mining and brass bands, but show it in the modern and positive way that we all know brass bands are now. And we've also got a partnership with the Corps of Army Music. In fact, one of our recent webinars was an information session for anybody that's considering a career in music through the Army. So I think that's all I'm going to say on partnerships today, but if you've got any questions of those, please do get in touch with us, because we work with a lot of people in various different ways.
Okay, so I'm going to talk a bit about our Equality, Diversity and Inclusion group. So this group has been part of BBE for well over a year now, made up of a member of staff, trustee and some other people particularly interested in this topic. We've been challenged by our Chair of Trustees to Challenge 2030, which is BBE's vision to see the makeup of bands reflect their communities and see equality, diversity and inclusion across the whole of brass banding by 2030. No small feat. So our group has been working on a number of projects looking at different aspects of this. We've done lots of listening and talking with other people, and in fact practically the whole staff and trustees are undertaking unconscious bias training at the moment. So from all our looking into this, we've sort of come up with 3 strands that we're working on. Firstly is training and awareness for banding in general. It's an area that a lot of us didn't know much about when we first started off on this new challenge, and it's something that really needs to be spread across the banding organisations. So we're looking to put on courses and make this something that's easy to access. We're looking at things to do with recruitment, where the sustainability of bands needs us to recruit from maybe outside the normal groups of people that come to bands, to make our audiences a bit more diverse, and bring more people into banding generally. So we're looking at that aspect of it, and we're also providing various resources. So we were looking into what it's like for disabled people who are in bands and how they might get on at various venues and events and what the difficulties are. So some of the resources we're providing, things like checklists for venues, event organisers about what you should put in place just to make it so that everyone can enjoy your events and access your buildings. So there's plenty going on there. If you watch the website space and look out for more events, we'll have plenty to talk about. Thanks.
I have to say, I'm doing that training for the second time, and it's as eye-opening the second time with different things to think about as it was the first time. So I really recommend spending some time thinking about that if you get the opportunity. So next up, we've got the National Youth Championship. So this is something that Brass Bands England run and support, and we rebooted the Youth Championships in 2019 to introduce a rethink of the 4 sections. So we now start with a non-competitive debut section. So this is for anybody to come and play up to the age of 18, and you get some positive feedback verbally from the adjudicator, and your band's leader will get some written feedback to go and work on. And then we introduce some tiered age-based sections as you go up, ranging from the intermediates through to the championship section. And at the moment, the top 2 sections receive qualification places for the Europeans in the different youth sections that they have. And it's always now in the last weekend of March. And any band that wants to enter that is a BBE member gets £25 off the cost of that entry fee. And I've put on there, talk to us if you're planning on starting a training band, because we can help you through that process. Maybe we'll set you up to have a chat with some of our Brass Foundations team. You may talk to Sarah or I about funding, whether you're looking to put together a plan and how you can get the project off the ground. And then one of the things, if you are starting a youth band, I would recommend building into your plan to come to the Youth Champs, because it's a great day out. It will really inspire the kids to keep coming and give them a boost in their learning. So that's the Youth Champs. Yeah, absolutely. It's an amazing day, and it's just so fun and vibrant, and it's just a great place to be, and we can't wait to run it again. So Brass Foundations, we've mentioned a couple of times this evening. So this is a new pilot project that launched in January, and we have taken on a team of 5 youth brass development specialists who are based across the country. So we've got someone based in Lancashire, in Rugby, in Camden, in Hertfordshire, and in Gloucester. So it's pretty wide ranging, and their remit is to really support the bands in their local area with online activity, as we're doing at the moment, to help them keep in contact with their members, keep them their online provision of good quality, and to make sure that when we get back to face-to-face rehearsals, they're bringing the youth band that they had pre-pandemic with them. But also to support local bands kind of invigorate their own youth programme, have a look at what they're doing, see if they could do something better, see if they could look at new recruitment models, and all that kind of stuff they're there to help with. But they're also there to create links, and that's with local music education hubs, other bands in the area, to create local networks or other arts organisations that are nearby, that partnerships are kind of really, really valuable for. We're so pleased the progress that we've made in a really short space of time, and particularly all of the music education hubs that have been so keen to come on board and keen to work with bands in their community. So I would really encourage you to get in touch if that's something that you are interested in speaking to us about. We've got projects running with Hertfordshire Music Hub, Camden Music Hub, Trafford Music Hub, Manchester. Just we've made great strides with that in the first
in the first few months of the project, and it's something we hope to continue. We'll be running a live streamed workshop day on April the 7th, and this is really focused at your beginner players, just a fun day that's all about them picking up their instrument again and making sure that they're still remembering that banding is a fun place to be. So if either you have a training band and you think that you need some support from the Brass Foundations team, then get in touch and I can point you towards the best person. Like I say, they are locally based in terms of the support they offer, and they've had a lot of requests, but they will always find some way to help you, whether that's pointing you towards some resources or something like that. They delivered a webinar a couple of weeks ago about reinvigorating your youth band and re-engaging with them, so I'd recommend that you go watch that back as well. Great, and then I'm going to pass over to Sam to touch a little bit on safeguarding.
Evening everyone. As Sarah said, I'm just going to talk a little bit about what we can offer in terms of safeguarding and supporting you in your safeguarding practice. So firstly, the BandSafe online toolkit. It was really primarily developed to help you create and update your safeguarding policies and procedures. So it's really easy to use, split into 4 clear sections, and essentially it's a series of yes and no questions which then help you to form an action plan in order to ensure that you can then write a policy and kind of get everything in order yourselves based on those yes and no answers. So although it is free to non-members as well as members through our website, we do actually do a live demonstration of the use of this toolkit on the BandSafe training course. So moving into the BandSafe training course, this is a course I'm sure some of you will have been on, developed in association with NSPCC, with whom we have quite regular contact, and in fact we're in the process of our most recent course update at the moment as we speak. It's delivered online via Zoom, of course, as is everything else in life at the moment. But while we kind of hope to return to face-to-face delivery, it has been really successful, and I think it will be, certainly for the time being, our main source of delivery. But like I said, if you prefer to do some face-to-face training, hopefully, fingers crossed, by the time we hit the summer and then into the autumn, we will be able to run some face-to-face courses as well. Along with completion of the BandSafe toolkit that I've just discussed, and a current membership, of course, in order to use the national BOPper that we have, the BBE national BOPper, you have to have 2 BandSafe trained representatives at any one time. So often bands have more than 2, particularly in a multi-band organisation. And as Rosie kind of touched on earlier, there's an £80 saving there just on the 2 training course fees. So it's a cost of £60 at the moment instead of £100 for a non-member. This course also negates the kind of really picky, complex procedure of child performance licensing through local councils. So to find out a bit more about that, there's quite a lot of information on the website, and there's also under the event section of the website details of the up and coming training sessions. So there's one a month between now and the summer. The April course in particular is filling up nicely, so just have a look and see if there's a course between now and July that suits you. DBS checks, I think we've more or less covered everything through what Rosie and Parky have said, but again, we cover this in great detail on the BandSafe course, and we have recently published an excellent article this week, in fact, and that's well worth a read. So if you go online, I'm sure some of you will have seen that again. It flagged up actually on my Facebook earlier. So that article has a bit of a teaser for our new video, which is a resource that has made for us. And now that is actually embedded in the BandSafe course as well. So the key point really for the DBS checks is that we can offer those for volunteers of the member bands completely free of charge, as Rosie explained. These are checked as well by Carol. So I think Sarah mentioned Carol earlier. Carol does the kind of expert analysis and checking of the DBS forms before they get sent off and processed. And finally, really, we're always here to help. So if you've got any questions at all, just email me. I get lots of questions. I'm finding actually a large part of my role is directly answering questions from members, and it could be about anything. It could be a safeguarding issue. It could be something really minor that you think, well, I don't really want to email him, but I'm more than happy to get in touch. I'm more than happy to have a conversation if that's what it takes. And I really value that kind of engagement with members. I think it reinforces just how far we've come in terms of keeping up to date with safeguarding in the real world. That's all from me. Thank you.
Absolutely, thanks, Sam. And yeah, that's the safeguarding work we do is so amazing and so unique because it's so bespoke to the kind of work and the kind of activity we take part in, and that's why it's such a valuable thing. It's not something that was part of our initial Arts Council bid, but it's something that we recognised was really important that we championed and pushed forward on, and being able to get to the point where we could take on a dedicated safeguarding officer was something that certainly me and Parky were absolutely over the moon about. Having someone that can really focus that time has been a really amazing step for us. So Parky, over to you for funding.
Great. So funding is probably one of the most common questions. It's also one of the most complex because every project and every band has a unique requirement for funding. But I'm just going to highlight some of the main things that we do regularly. So we are the Arts Council England sector support organisation. So we do specific support on Arts Council England application assistance. So whether you've got a project that you've dreamed about and now you think is time to bring it to life, or even one that you think has never got a chance in hell of getting off the ground, come and talk to us about it because we might be able to help you make it happen. So if you're thinking about applying for funding, come and talk to us is the most important because we can first of all help you develop your project ideas into something that will become the project that might get some funding. Then we would send you away with some information about the process of writing. We've got some documents that we've made that can help you do that. Then you'll come back to us for some feedback. And if it's a project that we think will fit within the Arts Council's guidance, we can put a letter of support to your application and send that in, or you will send that in even. We also have the Norman Jones Trust, which is a fund that bands can access directly administered by some of the board members of Brass Bands England. And that's predominantly used as match funding, so it can help your other applications be successful by being the match fund that you need for those. We also do other things occasionally in different ways. So one example of that, before Christmas, we ran a project with Crowdfunder where we gave you support and advice in running a crowdfunding campaign, which is still relevant if you wanted to run a crowdfunding campaign now. So if you are doing that, make sure you go and check out some of the resources that we put together in the run up for that, which are up on the website. And then we've also got things like Easy Fundraising, who are running one of our webinars. Is it next week, Sarah? Yes, so next week's webinar is with Easy Fundraising, and that's about how you can maximize Easy Fundraising to raise funds for your band. Because there's more than meets the eye to Easy Fundraising, as well as I think there's some chance to win some money directly on the webinar, if my memory serves me right. So come and talk to us about funding. If you're looking for funds, we are also in the process of developing a new training program, which has a particular bit about governance, but also on things like fundraising, how to think about structuring the finances of a band, and things like whether you need to register as a charity, what kind of charity you should be. And then I've also just noted there that through our partnership with Making Music, you can access their charity registration service, which is a highly discounted rate to take out the pain of registering as a charity, which I would say is 90% of the barrier to people registering as a charity, because these days the actual administration behind running a charity is significantly less than it was even 10 years ago. Especially if you register as something like a CIO. So that is our very quick whistle stop tour of funding and governance advice. We also run the Brass Band Archive. So this was something that we inherited nearly 3 years ago now, when the old archive unfortunately was made homeless and collapsed, and we're currently going through the process of working out what's in the archive and cataloguing it all, ready to go to its new home in Heritage Quay, which is a university archive museum based in Huddersfield. Now, when the collection goes there, it will be publicly available. If you contact Heritage Quay, they'll help you research anything that you want in the archive. The list of what's in the archive will be available online. And we're currently working out what we're going to be able to make available through other means. So whether that's music that's out of copyright, we're hoping to be able to make some of that available through our website. In what form, I don't yet know what that will be, as the project's in its discovery phase at the moment, but that's another exciting thing on the BBE horizon. Then we have our Brass for Brass, which is a competition that we run every month. And all you have to do is go to our website once and fill out the application form, which I'm hoping one of my colleagues is going to pop in the chat on both Zoom and the Facebook groups. Then each month we draw both a winner and a runners-up. The winner, their band gets the membership of BBE paid for the next year, and the individual wins some prizes, and that ranges from subscriptions to British Bandsman and BrassPass.tv, and a £25 voucher to spend at band supplies, so you can get some valve oil next time you go to a contest on the trade stands. And then each month, all you need to do is just click the link that we'll send you in an email to enter the following month. But the second month you enter, you'll actually get 2 entries. So the longer that you're in the competition and keep clicking on those enter now buttons, and all you have to do is click that button. It opens up a web page, but you can go away from that if you don't want to read anything that's on there. But by clicking the button, you've entered each month, and the more you enter, the more chance you've got of winning and helping your band out. And if you are running a band, encourage your band's players to get involved in that, because the more people you've got entering, the more chance you've got to win, and enter every month as well. So it's one of those things that it's a small benefit, but if you can have a 3 years membership, it's worth the effort. So then we've got national advocacy. So it's one of the intangible benefits of being part of Brass Bands England, but by joining us, you're helping make the voice of brass bands on the national stage bigger. We currently have 425 member organisations representing roughly 550 bands, but together that's representing 15,000 people. So when we go and speak to people in power, we're coming with the voice of 15,000 people, and that's not to be underestimated. But there are estimated to be somewhere between 25 and 30,000 brass players in the country, and if we were representing all of them, then that voice would be even bigger. So some of the success stories we've had, the recent one, which is obviously on people's mind at the moment, is our work in COVID-19 advice. So we work directly originally with Public Health England and now with the Department of Culture, Media and Sport to get as up-to-date advice as we can for bands in what is safe within the law as it stands and practical, and we try and formulate that into clear as possible advice and guidance, and we create resources to help you do that. Things like example risk assessments that you can then modify for your bands, posters you can put up around the hall to show people what they need to do. Now, obviously, rehearsals can't happen today, but we know that's coming, and that we will update those guidances and advices as soon as we can. We've also had real success with the BBE Bopper. Now, this is Boppers are something that help you get round child performance licenses. And people might remember a couple of years ago, they really reared their head to the brass band movement when one of the area competitions was going to get an inspection. We were able to have wind of that beforehand and make sure that bands were compliant, and have now come up with this system that we went to the Department for Education to say that the system as it stands doesn't work for bands. It's too cumbersome. There's too much effort involved from amateurs who do this for fun and for their hobby. And so they said, okay, right, well, we can work with you on this, but can you guarantee to us that the people that are going to be working with children have got training in place? So he said, yes, we run a training program. And they said, great, well, we'll give you a national bopper that means people can spend less time on that paperwork as long as you can demonstrate that the people that use the bopper have done your training. So we've gone ahead and put that all together, and for those that are using it, it's a real labour saving system, and actually saves you money as well if you're in one of the places in the country that charges for the licensing of chaperones, which isn't universal but is becoming more common. And then finally, the European Brass Bands Championships. So this is something that we're running in 2022 now, which is a little bit further ahead than we'd originally planned. So it's a big project at the moment for myself and for Kenny. But that is a brilliant tool for brass bands on the national stage, and we're able to use our collective voice for that advocacy to go and get support for a project like that on a national level. And we're hoping that once restrictions have lifted, that we'll be able to launch that through our connections at the Houses of Parliament, which will be really exciting. Thank you, Sarah. So I think the last thing from me today is to just talk about our members survey. So this is something that Claire and our marketing consultant that we're working with at the moment, Philip Littlemore, have been working on, and this is to try and find out from you, our members, what you would like to hear and see in your membership. So if you would like to take part and tell us what you want out of your membership, because we can only respond to what you tell us that's important to you, go to our website and there's a news item called have your say in our BBE survey, as the headline there says. As you scroll down, you can go and hit the link and take part. And I think you've got until, is it this Friday, Claire, or is it Friday up? This Friday. So it's very timely that we've put this webinar together today, so that we've told you what we do, and if there's things that we don't do that you would like us to, it's worth letting us know. Because there are plenty of things that we don't do. We don't really have anything to do with the National Brass Band Championships. You need to speak to either the Capital or the Brass Band Players Registry for those kind of things. Although we do point people in the direction of where they need to go when they do have questions that come to us. And thank you very much.
Thanks, Alex. We've talked about lots of different things today, and you probably go away and think of questions and wonder where you can find out about all the things we've mentioned. So we do have our FAQ section on the website. We might have people who are not actually members or member organisations. So if you look under membership, it does go into more detail about how to join, tells you more detail about DBS checks, and you can see all the topics there. If you still can't find out what you need to know, you can email me on that email address there, or ring the office, and there's different options for different things to choose from. So we look forward to hearing from you and hope that's been really helpful.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, particularly Rosie and Parky, who did the bulk of tonight's session. What we're going to do now is there's a couple of questions that we've got that have come in the Q&A already that we're gonna go through. So if you do have any other questions, or then please do pop them in the Q&A now, or if you're on Facebook, then put them in the comments. But as I said earlier, if you're on the Zoom call and you want to hold your question so you can ask us and have a chat about it, then do hang on, because we'll be able to answer those questions when we say goodbye to Facebook. So I'm just going to pose a couple of the questions to relevant people. So first of all, Leslie, has asked, is the membership survey the same one that has been sent out via email in the last few weeks to members?
Yes, is the short answer.
Brill. Yeah, so you should have had access to that, but you will also see it on our Facebook page as well. There is a separate members and non-members survey, so make sure that you are filling out the right ones. And again, if you have any questions or not sure, then please do get in touch. Another one from Ian, does BBE have any involvement with Brass for Africa? I think, Parky, this is a question for you.
Yeah, so we're a charity partner with Brass for Africa. In fact, I used to work for Brass for Africa in Uganda, so I deeply understand the work that they're doing out there, which is fantastic. And at the moment, that partnership extends to support through our Brass for Brass campaign. So for every time that we award a prize, we also award a £25 donation to Brass for Africa. And sometimes bands have voluntarily given up their prize money as well to support that, and that's part of our long-term plan to support the work of Brass for Africa, as well as promoting some of their campaigns and things like that. So yes, we do have a working relationship as a partner with Brass for Africa.
Fantastic. Great. Any other questions? This is your chance to get them into the chat. Parky, I don't know if you want to take those last two that were in there.
Yeah, well, I just want to cover a couple of questions that we've answered on the Zoom call, but for those of you that are watching on Facebook, they might be relevant. So one person asked, who can view the information that you put on your profile? How secure is it? So the information that you put on your band profile is public. But you can put any email you want on there. So this is the information that you want people to be able to see in order to contact your band, whether that's to book the band or join the band as a member because you're advertising a vacancy. If you put onto your personal profile, as in when you sign up on the website, that is completely secure. So that's only used for things like mailings or for your login. So when you log in and sign up for an account, that's completely secure. When you go onto the site and create your band's profile, that's a public profile. I hope that answers that question. And we had another question about what insurance companies do we work with. So we've got relationships with New Moon, Brass Band Insurance Services, and Making Music. And if you go onto our website and click on what we do insurance, then you can go and find they're all slightly different offers and will suit bands of different sizes or different structures differently. So we've got two other questions that I think are interesting to answer. So one, Anne asked the question, she's done some band safe training with us, and because of COVID was wondering if there's any extension or expiry date with little banding activity in the last year. The short answer, I'm afraid, is no, and that's because the requirements of the BOPA as laid out to us by the Department for Education are that training must have been carried out within the last 2 years. But we do appreciate that people have needed to have the training this year as well, because people have used the BOPAs for things like remote videos and distanced recordings, as well as for training and teaching that have been going on in bands. I'm sorry if it hasn't worked out that way for you, but we are limited in being able to unilaterally extend that training. And then the last question I have on here, so somebody's asking about being frustrated that contesting is sometimes put front and centre in Brass Bands England's offer, and the reality of that is it's not true. 99% of what we do at Brass Bands England is not about contesting. You'll notice the only time we mention contesting in the whole of this is briefly about the youth championships, and that's for children. And one of the things that we introduced into that is a non-competitive section, and that's to encourage participation for anyone that doesn't want to do contesting in that, but wants to do a high quality and well rehearsed performance. Everything that we do, whether that's around training, it's about playing, it's about artistic expression, insurance is something that every band needs to have. So we actually do very, very little at Brass Bands England around contesting. We do support contesting bands in what they do and give advice around that, but we don't directly run contests of any sort other than the youth championships. So I hope that answers the question, and we welcome everybody into Brass Bands England membership. And if there is something that you would like to see us doing that we're not doing, please do go and tell us through that member survey, because we do listen and we do react, and we're here to support the sector. And in many cases, that means supporting supporting non-contesting bands more. And we find that non-contesting bands, and particularly lower section bands, get the most value for money out of their Brass Bands England membership. They're the most likely to save significant amounts of money through our insurance offers, as well as get the most out of our training and development workshops and things like that, because they're getting that opportunity to focus on the performance a lot more in their normal activities.
Brill.
I don't know if we've had anything through Facebook. Question-wise.
No, we haven't. So thank you so much, everyone who's come along and watched this evening, and thank you for everyone who's put in questions. I hope that you've learned something about Brass Bands England and what we do, whether you are a member or aren't. This has been a bit of a whistle-stop tour into everything that Brass Bands England covers, and part of part of really what your membership gets you is time as well, and access to us to help you on all sorts of different things, and whether that's Rosie with membership or Sam with safeguarding or Parky with funding, we are here to help you as members as well, so do remember that. I'm going to say goodbye to everyone who's watching on Facebook now. Thank you very, very much for joining us, and anyone who wants to stay along and chat to us a little bit longer, hang on the call and I'll invite you into as a panelist. So thank you very much, everyone.